Hello, teacher. My name is Estefania, and for my book presentation, I am going to talk about the river between. Well, the river between is a 1965 classic African novel that is set in the decade of the early 20th century. This novel is written by Ngugi wa Thiong'o, and the story starts by describing a river. Its name is Honai. These rivers separate two mountain ridges, but at the same time, the river is why both are unit. And both are located in Kenya. The two ridges are kept apart by the river, and the unity is seen in the way that they meet in the valley. The river is the central part of this valley, and it's important for all the people who lives in the area because everybody uses it for its water supply. These two communities are called Cameo and Makuyo, and both have different points of view. In addition, they don't get along well because both have elders who are firmly grounded in their beliefs. But however, from the Cameo community was born Mugo, whom all revered as a great seer. One day Mugo shared a prophecy that certain people with clothes like butterflies will arrive to the community, and one from his lineage will be the savior of the village from such people. Mughal also specified that these people couldn't be killed by brutal force. So the community needs to learn their ways. They need to understand their religion or their traditions and their technology, because only in that way they could overcome to them. But also Mugo said that it was important that the people didn't forget their initial traditions. They don't forget their origins. In addition, it's important to say that these people is the British colonizers, and they arrive as Mugo said. Wayaki is the last descendant of Mugo, and he is the one destined to be the savior. So Wayaki received the British education, but he tried to continue the African traditions, like the one that said that everyone should be circumcised. Meanwhile, Joshua, a man from the other community, that it's Makuyo, he also received the message of the British community, but he is fully converted to the Catholic religion and the culture. So he also firmly enforces Christianity in his house. He adopted the white man's culture and totally left aside the African culture. We could say that he hates that culture now. Naturally, Joshua's daughter received British education and Christianity religion too. But one of the Joshua's daughter, that its name is Mutoni, choose to rebuild. She hides away and goes to her aunt's house, and she goes ahead and becomes circumcised according to the traditional ways. Joshua discovers this rebellion and gives Mutoni the ultimatum to return away, but she doesn't. She unfortunately had complication during the ceremony of her circumcised, and she died. The cruel part of the story is that Wayaki, the man from the other community, was in the ceremony of her circumcised, so he saw when she died, and the community from the cameo part thought that Wayaki was the responsible of her death. The climax of the story starts when Wayaki started meeting Nyambura. Nyambura was another Joshua's daughter, so everybody from the community hate Wayaki for the past and all the things that had succeeded, and because he pertains to other community. And that's why Nyambura reject Wayaki's proposal, because he wanted to marry her. And after Nyambura rejected, Wayaki decided to concentrate back on the purpose of his life, because he was putting it aside. He felt that the way to overcome the British people was by educating more and more the community's population. So he started to building schools and all those stuff. But Kaboni, a man from the community that don't get along with those things of ways of think, he wanted to return the community to its origins, to its initial traditions. So he started rumors that Wayaki likes a woman from another community. So everyone at the community see him like a traitor. At that point, Wayaki hurries to Joshua's church and interrupts the service to announce that Joshua and his followers, and of course her daughter, are in danger. But Joshua stands his around and orders Wayaki out of the church. Nyambura responds by grabbing Wayaki's hand and leaving the church with him, and she accepted that she loves him and she wanted to marry him. By this point, Wayaki understands that the only way that those communities will overcome the British people was only by unity. They needed to be unit, because only in that way they could overcome the British people. But when he said those things to the community, nobody believes him, because everyone told that he was a traitor. And that was the end of the story. Now I'm going to read a part of the first chapter of the book. The two ridges laid side by side. One was Cameo, the other was Macuyo. Between them was a valley. It was called the Valley of Life. Behind Cameo and Macuyo were many more valleys and ridges lying without any discernible plain. They were like many sleeping lions which never woke. They just sleep, the big deep sleep of their creator. And that's all. I could say that this is a good story. It was kind of difficult to understand at first, but I really liked it, and I think it has a really interesting message, that is that when you want to overcome a thing or a person, or maybe when you want to overcome a situation, you need to be unit with the people surrounds you, because In that way, it's easier to separate or overcome those adversities. And yeah, that's all. Thank you, teacher. Goodbye.